At my baby shower, I announced we were naming our son Xander, and my single childless cousin Brad stood up and said he'd spiritually reserved that name since 2019. He showed me his phone with a list of 2,000 plus names he'd claimed, started a Facebook group called Justice for Future Baby Names, crashed a family wedding with a PowerPoint about his stolen legacy, and eventually legally changed his own name to Xander so he could call himself Xander Sr. despite having no kids. I was in the middle of my baby shower when I announced my baby was going to be named Xander. Everyone reacted like a normal human being at first. I heard applause, cheers, the works. But then I looked at my cousin Brad, who was eyeing me down like I'd just stolen his credit card and used it for sports betting. Brad stood up so fast his chair tipped backward. "You can't use that name," he declared aloud. "I've reserved it." The room went silent. "Reserved it?" I asked, genuinely confused. "What are you talking about?" Brad puffed up his chest like a peacock who'd been taking steroids. "I've had that name spiritually claimed since 2019. Here's the thing though, Brad was single. Brad had been single since his girlfriend dumped him for insulting her mother in front of her. Brad also told everyone routinely how he hated children. How he decided this name was claimed was beyond me. I remember trying to keep things light because there was still cake to eat and presents to open. "Brad, you can still use the name when you have kids. Lots of people share names." Wrong move. Brad's face got redder. "You're stealing my legacy. You're sabotaging my future fatherhood." He pulled out his phone with the enthusiasm of someone about to show you their NFT collection. "I have it all here. My list of names I'd reserved for the future." I took one look at the phone, and his notes app said, "Sure thing. Here's a comprehensive list," followed by over 2,000 baby names all bullet pointed. I looked back up at him with an extremely agape jaw. My Aunt Marie, who'd spent weeks planning this shower, tried to steer us toward the cake table. Brad whipped around to face her. "Aunt Marie, I need you to witness this theft. This is name fraud." "Name fraud." He said name fraud with a straight face. My grandmother, bless her heart, suggested everyone calm down and remember we were here to celebrate. Brad pointed at her like a prosecutor in a courtroom drama. "You're enabling intellectual property theft, Grandma." That's when Tim had enough. My beautiful patient husband, who usually had the backbone of a chocolate eclair, stood up. "We're naming our son Xander," he said firmly, "and you can shove your imaginary list where the sun doesn't shine." The room gasped. Someone dropped a mimosa. Brad's jaw unhinged like the veteran blow addict he used to be. "You'll be hearing from my lawyer," Brad announced, already dialing. "He specializes in naming rights." What kind of lawyer specialized in naming rights, I thought to myself. Well, that's when Brad stood up and started pacing around, having an actual phone conversation about emergency name injunctions and establishing first claim rights. He used the phrase conceptual property at least 3 times. 20 minutes later, a guy showed up looking like he'd been dragged through a hedge backward. This was apparently Brad's lawyer friend from law school. The poor guy was wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt that said, "I don't want to be here." Brad immediately launched into his presentation, gesturing wildly at me. "She stole the name I've been planning to use for my firstborn son. I need you to explain the legal ramifications." The lawyer friend looked at Brad, then at me and my very pregnant belly, then at the room full of people holding baby shower games and eating tiny sandwiches. His expression shifted from confused to comprehension to something that looked like secondhand embarrassment had gained sentience. "Brad," he said slowly, like he was explaining quantum physics to a golden retriever, "is this seriously why you called me? This is serious legal matter involving intellectual property theft within a family structure," Brad insisted. The lawyer friend pinched the bridge of his nose. "Brad, buddy, let me get this straight. You called me on my only day off this semester. You said it was an emergency. You made me drive 20 minutes across town. For a baby name?" Brad nodded enthusiastically. "Exactly. She's stealing my son's identity. You don't have a son, Brad. But I will. You're literally infertile, Brad. You cry about it to me once a month consistently." The room collectively sucked in a breath. Someone whispered, "Oh snap." My uncle started eating popcorn from the snack table like he was watching a movie. The lawyer friend continued, "You can't reserve a name, Brad. That's not how names work. That's not how anything works. Did you seriously think you could legally claim ownership of the name Xander?" Brad opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. "And another thing," the lawyer friend was on a roll now. "Even if you could, which you absolutely cannot, what kind of person ruins their pregnant cousin's baby shower over a hypothetical child that doesn't exist?" He turned to me. "Congratulations on your baby. Xander's a great name." Then he looked back at Brad. "Lose my number, and maybe seek therapy." The lawyer friend walked out, leaving Brad standing there like a deflated parade float. Brad looked around the room at everyone staring